is unfortunately delusion.
Obesity, as we've discussed before, is not fucking real.
I'm disappearing!
The cope has reached its peak. Keep on coping, ladies. You're going smoked by men and women who are actually self-aware and live in reality.
Anti-fatness is rooted in anti-blackness. And the reason why people are pursuing thinness is because they're pursuing proximity to whiteness. The reason why people hate...
Well, she's fat, so she's making a whole bunch of excuses instead of getting a treadmill and stop stuffing garbage down her throat.
Hydro dipping my MacBook Pro.
Oh my gosh.
And lifting it up.
Oh.
Voila.
Is it gonna work?
Of course it's gonna work. Now we're gonna open it, power it on, and I want an apology from you when you see that it's gonna work. Okay? Okay, here we go. It's not gonna spark. What did I tell you?
Not working.
It's starting up.
It doesn't work.
Hold on, it might be out
It's
of
not
battery.
working. No, you fried it.
No, I didn't fry it. You know how when you get a new computer, it might not have sufficient battery?
You killed.
I asked her why she left the house.
Oh, are we ready to skip over to that? Are we ready to find out why I left the house?
Yes. Sure.
Oh,
Let's do
okay. We left the house because my husband had me arrested. And he put me in jail. I was in jail for about 3 to 4 days. I was taken to the hospital while I was in custody. And they found that I had injuries that I had sustained that did not warrant them charging me. I was told I was booked on a felony elderly abuse because of the age of my husband.
The complaint was that you got him in a chokehold?
Yes, he laid hands on me. Yes, I laid hands on him. Yes, one night, I snapped. I couldn't take it anymore. I overpowered him. I got behind him. I put him in a chokehold, held him until he passed out.
No.
There's...
No, do not cheer that behavior.
No.
That is not good behavior.
Good thing.
I don't want y'all beating on each other. I don't want you choking each other out. Listen, that's
Brilliant. Actually, from where I'm from, this wouldn't fly. It's only in the West that people are this crazy.
I gotta say, there's kind of a basic irony here. I mean, you're lecturing us about sexism while you're sitting right now in Manhattan.
Manhattan, we need to rename the city then. The Big Apple. The Big Apple would be less offensive. So I feel that I'm sitting in the Big Apple, not Manhattan.
Okay, but why stop there? Why should the post office deliver mail?
I know. Well, it says M-A-I-L, so that's okay. If it's M-A-L-E, then there's a problem.
Homonyms count, and this applies to email too, because it's not about spelling, it's about being gender inclusive.
Right.
And mail is offensive. We just learned that. So.
Well, no, I don't think they're including that, but they are saying that society has changed and times are changing, and we don't want to be offensive in our language. And they're trying to be non-sexist and non-biased, and that means trying to take the word man out. So instead of man-made, it would be synthetic. So instead of mailman, it would be mail carrier. So there's many ways to go around it. Instead of humanity, you should say people.
But mail carrier still has mail in it. So you haven't, it's kind of a fake, but that's a job.
So package carrier. We can come up with so many other terms that are less offensive. Yeah.
You might still offend dyslexics. You can change a vowel, but it sounds the same. It has that dreaded word that sends people shrieking for their safe spaces, mail.
Well, they're saying man. Man is the word that they're trying to avoid. They're saying that the word man is associated with adult men as opposed to just humanity or humans. So they're trying to avoid the word man. So if we can eliminate that word, then things would be much better and people would be less offended.
Well, what if you lived in Manchester, Vermont?
Well, they might have to change the name of the city if people agree with Purdue University. And Purdue University found that things need to be updated, and they updated their writing guide to take out these words that apparently are offending certain groups of people.
Okay, so just to make sure I understand the rule, if something offends somebody, even if you've never met that person personally,
Right.
you have to change it. So doesn't that mean that a small group of super unhappy people get to control what the rest of us say and think?
Well, perhaps they're ahead of their time. Maybe this is something that is offending a small group, but the group's going to get larger, and times are changing, and our language is dynamic. Webster keeps adding new words in the dictionary, so our language needs to change, and a term that used to be non-offensive, like man-made and male-man, now needs to be changed.
Well, I get that. I guess the question for me is who gets to decide what changes and what doesn't. So, for example, I think I've now decided the most offensive word in the language is college professor.
Oh.
Okay? Because to me that connotes dumbness and misuse of power and tenure, right? And mediocrity. So maybe I'd like to say no one can use that word ever again in my presence because it offends me. Would that fly? Could I do that? Could I pull it off?
Well, if you have a writing guide, perhaps, and you put that out there and people agree with you, then yeah, maybe that would fly. But
Tucker is the best example of letting your opponent reveal how stupid they are. He really entertained her ideas so she can show them explicitly to the world. Yes, we're living in insane times.
Women make less money than men because men work more hours. They tend to work more dangerous
Because women
jobs.
get pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a what? A choice?
That's
That's a
no.
choice?
What do you mean it's a choice? That's
It's a
50-50.
co-choice. It's a co-choice.
Excuse me, what? It takes two. It takes two to create a freaking baby. Are you
Hold on,
joking?
let me finish my point. Number one, it is not a choice because men have zero say in anyone that gets born in the United States.
But they do have a say in creating the baby. So
No,
Wrap
hold
it
on.
up. They
hold
can
on.
wrap it up.
No. You're confused because, like, okay, women have 100% authority over who gets born and who gets aborted in the United States. Men have zero reproductive rights. Your body, your choice, which means your body, your responsibility. So I'm gonna tell you this right now too, because if I was to impregnate you and I wanted the kid and you said, I'm not having a kid, you can abort the kid, but it doesn't work the other way around. So you're responsible, okay? So pregnancy
You're both responsible.
No, the woman is the responsible.
what are you saying? How are you not
Men
responsible
can
for
get
creating
women
a-
pregnant every single time that they have sex and ejaculate. Women can only get pregnant like 2-3 days of the month. So it's really, I feel, up to the man to make.
Your body, your choice. So your responsibility. Just don't impregnate anyone, boys. Unless that's a vetted high-quality woman. Don't marry her or knock her up.
Like a guy that's like 70 or 60 is wanting to date like a girl that's barely 21. I think there's
A
something
guy
wrong
who's
with that.
how old? 70 or 60?
60, yeah, or something like that. And then the girl's like barely 21. Obviously, there's something wrong with that.
Couldn't you make the argument that it's actually more predatory for the woman to want to date someone that old?
I think
For financial reasons? I mean, love works in mysterious ways, but I would say overwhelmingly there's going to be a financial component to that sort of relationship.
She was too stunned to speak. No woman in her early to mid-20s will willingly date a man the same age as her or younger. They will almost always prefer older men because they have their shit together. They're really not sensing their stupidity, huh?
I ask you all, who's obligated to pay?
If a guy asked me out, he would pay because he's the one who asked for the date.
So if you asked him out, you'd be obligated to pay too, right?
Not necessarily.
So why is it different for a woman, but if he asks you out, then he has to pay?
I don't think it's always different. I think it just depends on the context, the situation. You gotta assess the vibe.
More times than not.
Assess the vibe. I have never heard of a hilarious response to a question.
Scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this guy right here?
Be for real. Like a 7.
A 2?
I'm gonna give him a 1. Oh my god. I said 7.
Alright, so what would you rate yourself?
I'll give myself a cool little 8.
A cool little 8. What about you?
I'll give myself a 7.
You think other people feel the same way too? What would you rate that girl right there? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
I mean, like a 2.
A 2? What about this girl?
4.
A 4?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you rate yourself?
Like a 4.
Like a 4?
Like a 4, yeah.
Do you feel like other people feel the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
They even laughed. That's delusion right there. Women tend to rate themselves higher while men rate themselves lower. Men are simply more modest. So boys, find the modest girl.
This man has no authority to be speaking on this topic. He is a fitness coach, and nothing else.
You actually think you're qualified to talk about this?
You are a white, straight-sized, cisgender man.
think you made this video because you're insecure that you have biases that need to be checked up upon.
And skinny people will never fucking get it.
You have every privilege.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up. Please shut up about things you don't know anything about.
Stay in your lane.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think my highlights started at the free throw line and not in the gym. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner. That my game was built on flash and not fire. Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength, that my pain was my motivation. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for every single day of my life. Maybe I destroyed the game. Or maybe you're just making excuses.
Reasons from fat, unattractive girls are basically excuses. They don't count as real reasons.
They have discovered a bunch of stray dogs that are the color of Smurfs. What? What? So there's a factory that produced plexiglass, and one of the byproducts of that is something called hydrocyanic acid, or hydrogen cyanide. So essentially, these dogs are drinking this chemical water. Even though the factory closed a few years ago, it's obviously still polluting the shit out of the water, and it's turning them Smurf fucking blue.
So the fur is growing blue from the root from whatever they're consuming then, right?
It is the rarest color to occur in nature. It's one of the reasons blue things like peacocks and things like that are so coveted in the animal world, because it's an infrequent color.
2 of the dogs have found new homes. So, how about that?
Give me one. I'll take a book.
Yeah,
Are
right?
you kidding me? I don't care how sickly he is from cyanide poisoning. I will take that dog.
If the reason you're pursuing women is for companionships, you're better off getting a dog. Women are terrible companions because they lack empathy. It's not in their wiring.
What kind of question is this?
I didn't ask.
Mothers and daughters, we don't talk about this.
Ma, ¿cuánta gente tú has dormido con?
Yo desde mí no me voy a acordar de eso y era puta en Cuba, ¿cómo me voy a acordar yo de eso?
So I was at this party last night with some friends, and this guy comes up to me and he says, "You're so beautiful, can I have your number?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, playing hard to get." And I said, "No, I'm simply not interested in you." And he said, "Why can't you just be nice and give me your number?" And I said, "Why did I think of that? I changed my mind all of a sudden. Of course you can have my number. Let me put it in your phone for you." And he said, "Really?" I said, "Yes, but it might take a couple minutes because I'm a little drunk." And he said, "Take your time." Good thing I wasn't drunk because I was able to find his Venmo app right away. So I put my phone number in there, and suddenly I'm $5,000 richer. And I'm wondering, how on earth did that happen? Did I do that? Yes. I know I wasn't entitled to, and he definitely would have said no, but I took it anyway. I guess I just can't seem to take no for an answer.
That's really one of the cringiest things I've ever seen. Some women are really devoid of personality and humor, huh? No worries. The wall will take care of her very nicely.
Where did all the good men go?
You want to know where all the good guys have gone, huh? I'll tell you where they're gone. But you better hold on to your butts, because I'm going to hit you with some truth that some of y'all ain't ready for. And I say this, and I'm telling you this because I had to listen to a friend of mine the other night that is a good example of this. The good guys are still there. They just don't care anymore. They're tired of putting themselves out there to be crushed. Now I know it happens to men and women, but nowadays it's happening more and more to the good guys, and I'm tired of it. Good example, friend of mine, long-time friend of mine, calls me the other night crying. Hysteric. And it took me forever to calm him down. And I asked him what happened. He said, well, he met a girl on TikTok, and everything was going great. They were talking for 3 months, a little bit of a long-distance relationship, but he said everything was great. Everything they believed in was the same. I mean, it seemed like that perfect relationship. And after 3 months, he finally said, hey, I want to take you on a date. I will drive up there and take you on a date. she goes, you know what? That would be great, but you would do that for me? And he's like, yeah. I'm not asking to go sleep with you. I'm not asking to stay the night at your apartment. I just want to come take you on a date. Leave it at that. If we're still good after that, then hey, maybe we got something. He takes off of work, drives all the way up there, and she ghosted him. Out of the blue, ghosted him. Blocked him like she never even existed. And I had to listen to him crying hysterically, going, why do I put myself in these positions? I said, it's not you. It's not. Nowadays, we live in a society where it's easier just to ghost somebody. It's easier just to do the chicken shit thing and just drop somebody. If you're nervous, if you're full of anxiety and you say, hey, I'm really nervous about this, can we hold off a couple of nights or something? I'm really nervous about this. I would have more respect for somebody who did that as opposed to just dropping me after 3 months of talking. So you want to know where the good guys are? They're still there. They're just tired of excuses and tired of being held to a standard that is unrealistic. Yes, have standards, but make them freaking realistic. Quit looking for the perfect gentleman that has every...
While I sympathize with his buddy, I can't help but ask, really? A girl he met on TikTok? Gents, you're the smarter gender. Use your brains, please. Stop letting the smaller guy win.
So, I went out on a Tinder date the other day. Starts good. Dinner's good.
Why is she trying to seduce the cameraman?
We even decided to go watch a movie at his house after. And a little sexy time happens. We're not against sexy time. We like sexy time. So, sexy time usually makes you hungry. And we decide to get tacos. So, I hop in the car and I look over at homeboy who's on his phone. I'm thinking he's gonna pick a slow jam for us to go get our munch on. And no, he's got Tinder open and he's matching with chicks and responding to girls he's already matched with. I'm no expert, but I kind of think you should wait till a girl you've just hooked up with, 1, leaves your house, 2, leaves your car before you start scouting out your next conquest.
I agree though. Homeboy wants her to leave already though. That's what that usually means, dear.
Okay, men, this is for you. Shoot your fucking shot. Shoot the fuck out that shot. And if you miss, shoot the fuck again, okay? Because a lot of you could be pulling women way out of your league. A lot of women date down, okay? I know
Hypergamy dictates she's fucking stupid and doesn't know what she's talking about.
When I was 19, this girl I was talking to was like, oh, I love this restaurant, I love the food there. So I was like, okay, bet, I'll take you. And I ain't never been to a fancy restaurant before, so I'm thinking to myself, you know, the most I'm gonna spend is like 150 beans, right? So we get to the restaurant, I see the menu, I immediately look at my bank account. I said, okay, as long as her and I just order food, we good. Shorty ordered 2 desserts. Yo, I got the bill back. Dessert was busting my pockets, gang. So immediately the poverty kicked in my head like this. I said, how we gonna get out this jam? So I'm looking around. I see the waiter walking in and out the kitchen with the drinks. I said, bet, here we go. Game on. So I walk directly towards the waiter like a collision course. Boom! Soda, water, wine. Various liquids is pouring on me like a college girl on spring break, right? I'm causing a ruckus. Oh my God. How could you do this to me, right? Yo, everyone's like, oh my God, oh my God. I said, how could you do this to me? I'm never coming back here again. Grabbed Shorty, ran out the restaurant. I had to do what I had to do.
Somebody got fired because he was an idiot. A smart idiot, but still an idiot.
Scene. I don't cook, I don't clean.
Then leave. Then leave.
Hi, Dan. I just moved in next door. I'm a supermodel.
I don't care who the IRS sends. I am not paying.
Yikes! Somebody's relationship isn't gonna last.
You pay me? I put all this fucking car. I was 12, 10, I'm not fucking paying for me. You wanna cheat on me? I pay for this car, you stupid.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today, boys. Thanks for watching.